Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio on a Tuesday morning. St. Louis Blues in Game 2 against their series against the Jets. Not able to get that magic together.
No, but I think when they return to St. Louis, which will be Thursday, the game's Thursday and Sunday, I think you'll see the Blues win at least one and maybe two of them.
It's just...
it's a matter of how you physically play these games. And Winnipeg is a very physical team. Mm-hmm. So is St. Louis. And last night, oh my goodness, they were banging each other on the checks. The checks were really hard. And there wasn't going to be a whole lot of scoring because both goalies, Bennington and Hellebuyck, are very, very good players. Hellebuyck is an American or a United States citizen who plays for a Canadian team, and Bennington's a Canadian who plays for a United States team, so go figure. Anyway, each team had 22 shots on goal. Hellebuyck saved 21 of them. Bennington saved 20. A 2-1 match, and the Blues win it. I beg your pardon, the Jets win it, and Winnipeg is now up by 2-0. But they do play again Thursday, and I think in St. Louis at the Enterprise Center. I think situations will differ.
I think you're right in that regard. It's just the last two games have been frustrating. It just seems like the Blues have been a little bit more timid than they should be. They're playing a little bit more safe, and they need to play like they've got nothing to lose. The way they played the last part of the regular season, to be quite honest with you. What about the NBA playoffs?
Well, we had a couple of games last night, and in each case, the visiting team won. The Detroit Pistons, who have been kind of downtrodden here the last decade or so, have come back and beat the New York Knicks last night 100-94. Cade Cunningham, who was a big star at Oklahoma State, had 33 points for the Pistons, and that series is now tied at a game apiece. Now the series moves to Detroit, and a very interesting circumstance. The Pistons are on the way back. The other one out in Denver, a dandy basketball game. You talk about physical, this one was. The Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are a former NBA champion, and it's the Clippers who win this time 105-102, a game that went right quite literally to the wire. Nuggets had a chance to get back into it and could not score the tying goal. 105-102, and that series is now tied at a game apiece, with the competition now moving to Los Angeles.
And speaking of running, the marathon in Boston was yesterday. Who are the top people winning that thing?
Patriots Day in Boston, and the 129th running of the Boston Marathon, which is probably, arguably speaking, the world's most famous marathon. John Career from Kenya was the winner in 2 hours, 4 minutes. You think about that. 26 miles, 385 yards in 2 hours and 4 minutes. That's remarkable. Not a record, but pretty doggone close to it. And Career matches his brother from 14 years ago, who also won the Boston Marathon. So you have John Career as the men's winner, and Sharon Lokanai from Kenya, and the University of Kansas is the women's winner of the marathon as well. So the Kenyans, as usual, it's either Kenya or Ethiopia that dominates that race. They're all long-distance runners and do very well. And many of them are, as is Miss Lokanai, American college students as well. So big win for the Boston Marathon. Had 30,000 runners in the event yesterday. That's amazing.
The Cardinals are in a series currently with the Braves. Is Atlanta as good as they have been in the last few years?
No, they are significantly weaker at the moment because they have such serious injury problems and legal problems as well.
Legal problems?
Yeah, one of their top players who they obtained during the winter is out for half the season because of illegal drug usage. And that's Jurickson Profar, and he's a good player, a long ball hitter, in his 30s, and yet he got mixed up. Allegedly, it's a mistake, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway, the Cardinals played the Atlanta Braves, first of the 3-game series this week. And last night, the Cardinals made a gallant comeback in this game. Braves had a 3-0 lead. Cardinals tied it up at 3-3. The Braves broke that tie in the last of the 8th inning with 4 runs, takes a 7-3 lead. Game over? No. The Cardinals came back in the 9th inning, tallied 3 runs, 2 of them on a Wilson Contreras 2-run homer, and suddenly it's 7-6. And then with the tying run on base, the Cardinals could not get that run around, and Atlanta wins it by a score of 7-6. Cardinals have a chance now. They're not giving up. And while their record is now 9-14, 9 wins, 14 losses, you still don't want to get too far behind, even at this time of the year. As we mentioned earlier, the old adage is you can lose the pennant in April. You can't win it, but you can lose it in April, and that's what the Cardinals are hoping to avoid, any kind of a lengthy losing streak. Anyway, they play again tonight at Truist Field in Atlanta. It's where they play the All-Star game this year, and the Cardinals hope to come back.
Royals got the day off yesterday. They face arguably one of the worst teams in baseball this week, so hopefully they can get a few dubs out of that series. Missouri State and Mizzou are going to be at Hammons Field. You going to the game tonight?
Indeed. Second time in a week these two teams have played. Last week up in Columbia, Missouri won 10-9. The Bears had the tying run on third base with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Missouri held them off, and then there was some jawing. The teams got into a little verbal battle after the game. It wasn't physical, but it was verbal. So there's some contentious attitudes about the game coming up tonight. They start at 6:30 at Hammons Field. Missouri has not had a very good year at all. They're winless in the conference. And the Bears have a half-a-game lead in the Missouri Valley. This is a non-conference ball game, but added to your pedigree playing Mizzou, and the Bears have had success against Mizzou. We'll see what happens. 6:30 game, and hopefully it'll be a big crowd there tonight.
Usually will be, and the weather should be absolutely perfect for some baseball. It's kind of weird. There is a little bit of time between the game yesterday for the St. Louis Blues and the Jets. Is that because it was in Canada and they're coming back? What's the deal?
Yes, that delay is because of the travel coming from Edmonton, from Winnipeg, Manitoba, which is really just above the border, right above the United States border. But still, they want to allow plenty of time to get the rest, even though they are flying. There's a lengthy amount of time, so the next game is Thursday, and then the next game after that is Sunday. Well, that is an unusual delay. Why? Well, have to understand these arenas that the hockey teams play in are not owned by the hockey teams. They're owned by private enterprises for the most part, and that's the case with St. Louis. Well, they love having the Blues in the Enterprise Center, but once the season is ended, you have to make your money somewhere, so there are 2 key concerts at the Enterprise Center. On Friday, it's Brooks and Dunn. No hockey that night. And on Saturday, it's Cat Williams. No hockey then either, so the next game will be following Sunday at noontime. That's when they can squeeze them in there, and that's when they'll play the Sunday game.
And hopefully they can get some rest and play with some more fire. Ned, you have a good Tuesday. Enjoy the game tonight.